And God knows that it's a common misconception that I'm the only one for you. And I can take you out for breakfast, but he could take you round the world. Fred Astaire's the man for you.
I don't want your Wall Street. Don't got no degree. Written on the concrete. ACAB. Couldn't really tell you what I'm trying to find. Everyone's so boring, makes me wanna lose my mind. So call me up tonight if you need somewhere to get out of the light. These days I feel like I do nothing right. So come with me, we'll go down the line. I'm thinking of you fondly when I'm on the train. I really hate your poetry. You hate mine the same. So call me up tonight.
Well, it took some time to get it right, to recognize the infinity in the sky. At the speed of light, I got peace of mind with the echo chambers, the melodies in my mind. And it feels alright, slowly drifting over you, and I feel alive, alive. Yes, you were right, looking up from here. We start to fly higher into the atmosphere. Took out time.
I've been trying to hold. I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through a loss. You don't even have just a touch, baby. I'm the color since city's cold and empty. No one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone. Or not said. I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep till I feel your touch. I said, I'm drowning in the night. Oh, one of my days, you know what nights. I said, I'm running out of time, 'cause I can see the sun light up the sky. So I hit the road and overdrive, baby. Oh, the city's cold and empty. No one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone. Oh, and I said, I'm blinded by the lights.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get difficult to stand, but hold your balance. I just say whatever, 'cause there is no way you're around it. 'Cause everyone falls down sometime, but you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Hey, some days you wake up and nothing works, you feel surrounded. Gotta give your feet some gravity to get you grounded. Keep good things inside your ears just like the waves and sound it. And just say whatever, 'cause there is no way you're around it. Everyone falls down sometime, but you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
I
they've transitioned. Maybe we can hear.
Can you hear
If
us
we
now?
wait a few minutes, they might. A few seconds.
Yeah,
Let's see if
we're
you
just
can
going to
hear
keep
us now.
talking.
Yep.
But you might have been able to zoom in on that photo that we showed you before, and it was of Beck. And she did have a moustache, and I think she looked really weird. So thanks, Beck.
Is it?
Yes.
I think
Okay.
they can hear us now.
Okay. They can hear us. So hello again. We have tried to work out the sound things for a few minutes now, and it is 7:07. So I think we should
Race through.
talk about what we're going to talk about.
Okay, we're just gonna just give it a second or two. But we're excited. Okay.
Cool. All right. I think
Okay. All right. Choppy sound, but you look great. Thanks, Mitch VDM. We can hear you, but it's very sketchy. Yay, Rebecca. Yay.
Yay.
Okay.
Okay, I think we've got our sound back.
It'll do.
Yes, maybe will this help?
Okay.
No, I don't know, guys. Thank you so much for bearing with us. But we showed Beck with the taco,
Yes.
and we'll try and show you some other submissions from matching with your pet over the week.
Yep.
But I think we're
And
gonna.
hang on. What you need to do is zoom in on Beck's photo,
Yeah,
because and look at her face. She has a moustache.
yeah.
It's
disgusting.
hilarious. Oh, anyway,
Did I say that?
one or the other.
Both.
So what do we have in store? Well,
Yeah, we just with like it's also been like a crazy week.
it has been a crazy.
Like we had a crazy week last Friday, but so much has happened since then.
Yeah.
And so we just wanted to acknowledge what's been going on, and talk about what's been going on.
Yeah, and
But
pray.
yeah, but like first and foremost, we want to pray about what's been going on. There has been so much hurting, so much brokenness, so much division, but also like so much unity, which has been like good to see with all the protests that's been going on. People are fighting for a change because I think our world needs change.
Yeah, that's right.
So we just wanted to come on here, and Timmy wanted to share a verse.
Yeah. So, God, I want to encourage us all that we are all one under God, that God
Yeah.
sees us all as his children. And there is a verse in Galatians chapter 3, verse 28, and it says, there is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. And, God wants us to be one family. He loves us all equally, and we as humans, we're sinful people. We're broken. We live in a broken world, and we just want to let everybody know that we don't agree with some of the things that happened in the past.
Yeah,
And we
for
stand
sure.
for
No, we like want to see change. We want to see, like we just need it to
a
change.
unified world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're just going to quickly pray.
Yeah.
So why don't you join me, Lord God? We pray for our world, Lord God. We thank you that you have called us to be unified. You have called us to be one people. Lord God, we thank you that there is neither slave nor free. There is neither Jew nor Gentile. There is neither male nor female. You just see us all as Christ. And Lord God, we just pray for our world that there will be healing. Lord God, that we will see equality throughout our world. And Lord, we just pray that there will be a peace that that comes to America and to all the areas where there has been rioting and protesting. And Lord, that it will be a lasting peace and a peace that is centered on you, Lord God, and that we'll just see everybody treated equally by all people. And so we pray all this in your name. Amen. Amen. So hopefully we are getting pretty good reception.
Can I just add one more thing?
Yeah.
Just
Please.
to close that out. We would love to support you if you've been having
Someone to talk to.
just we're here. Your youth leaders are here, and we're just open for a chat and
That's
just to talk about what's been going on. Yeah, so please just reach out if you have questions, and we'll try and answer them and talk about them the best we
Yeah.
can.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Cool. So we just wanted to talk about that, but now we're going to move on and go into something a bit more upbeat, I reckon.
We are. And
Yes.
hopefully this is going to work a treat. I'm really excited for this.
Yes, I'm really excited.
We got
I have
two
no
of the-
idea what's going to go on, but I'm really excited to see
how this is going to work. So we're about to play a game.
yes,
That's
game.
what we're excited for.
Yes.
And we have two of our couple of lads on the leadership team.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
We've got Geordie and Tom will be joining us via Zoom. There they are. I can see their face.
Boys.
And they're going to come onto your screen
Yes.
in just a moment
In just a moment.
and run us through the game.
Yes.
So get excited. Get your typing fingers ready is
Yes.
what I reckon.
And get your brains. It's going to be a bit of a brainy game.
It is a bit of a brain game, but
Yes. So get your fingers ready to
speed
type.
game as well.
Now remember, Tim, why do we play a game? What like, are we, like,
Oh, there
obviously
are
it's having fun.
prizes.
Yes, prizes. So as you can see behind us, I know that I'm really tempted to just go buy myself one of these.
You're on a diet. You told me you wanted me to be strict. So
So you've got to be in it to win it. I say that every week because we want you guys, like, these are fun.
yeah, these
Yeah.
are fun. And this
They're so
one
fun.
is
So
going to be a lot of fun.
we've got Liv in the room actually. Liv. Everyone knows Liv. I love Liv. She's here. She was on the Instagram live that you might have seen. And she was given a prize
got a
a few
pretty good
weeks ago.
prize.
How was it, Liv?
She
said it was
she
great.
said it's great. She's got 2 thumbs up. She's jumping up and down. She's like, woo! Anyway.
It's great. Thanks, Liv.
Okay.
So get ready.
Get ready.
Now,
We're going to... Here's Tom and Geordie.
yeah, boys, you're about to be on the screen in 3, 2, 1.
Hey.
Hey team.
Okay, so what we're going to do tonight, we are going to play a game, and this game is kind of like categories if you've played that before. So what we are going to do is we are going to play several rounds, and for each round, we're going to give you 3 categories, and then we're going to give you a letter, and the first person to reply with a word like that fits all 3 categories is going to win that round.
They have to be a part of the one comment. So get ready. You're gonna have to type all 3 things with the same or for each different category with the same letter, and they've all got to be in the one comment. Otherwise, we won't be able to determine a winner too easily.
So we want one comment with all 3 of your words in it, if that makes sense.
First one to answer wins that round.
Pretty simple, right? Okay, so what we are going to do is give you the first round categories, and then we're going to give you a letter. So for round 1, we have the categories of animals, countries, and names of people in general. Okay? And so you're going to so we're just going to keep on going until someone gets the
Answer. And we're
gets
gonna
the
be
answers.
we're gonna be relying on the team back at YouTube, back on the church to let us know when that comes through.
Because we cannot tell.
We
But
can't.
we're going to work it out. So bear with us. So Tom, do you want to roll the dice and let's get a letter?
All right, team. So, have we specified the categories again? Once again, just
Yeah.
for the players at home.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Yeah, we should probably let you know again. We need an animal. We need the name of a country, and we need a name of a person. Just a general name.
We're rolling the dice, and we have M.
M. Let's go, team.
Get going, team. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what could we say.
Yeah, we can.
We can do it with
Yep.
a different letter while people guess.
Yeah, so if we had the letter B, if we had an animal, we could say a bear.
A baboon,
So many. And then countries.
a country, Brazil.
Brazil.
Too easy.
Done. Remember, your letter is M, not B. So we're just kind of
We're just playing around for the players at home.
Kind of showing you how it works.
So explaining it again, we're looking for a comment that has a category for an animal, a country, and a people's name, all that start with the letter M. So if we were to give an example, we're talking for the letter B, we're talking baboon, Brazil, and Bradley.
Just like that. And you need all three of those words in the one reply on YouTube.
And that's all we need to see, and the first person to do so wins. Oh, we've got a winner.
We have got a winner. Matthew King. Well done for winning this round. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Just like that.
just like that. So I hope we're starting to get the hang of it, but we're gonna have a few more rounds so that everyone can get a hold of the game. Yeah, let's just crack into the next round. Hey,
Yeah, let's do it. So, round 2. We need
Yep.
a food, a name of a city or a town, and the name of a sport.
all right, let's roll this dice. All right, we've got
Letter
sports.
R.
Letter with R. Wait.
R for rabbit.
Yeah. So once again, that is a food, a city or a town, and a sport. Let's get cracking, team.
Like that.
Just like that.
So yeah, Matthew. Oh no, you can probably all see because it's in the chat. Yeah, Matthew had Monaco, Matthew, and Monkey for that last one. So very well done.
Not a bad option.
Yeah, nice.
I would have said moose personally for the animal.
Moose.
It's just
That works.
personal preference.
Yeah.
That's
Would
the
have had
thing.
Madagascar for a country.
Very true.
Very many options.
Michael for a name.
Michael. What was it?
But yeah, just to reiterate, we haven't got anything on our end, but we're talking about food, cities / towns, and a
Name of a sport
sport.
starting with the letter R.
Though we do acknowledge that there's probably going to be a bit of lag, so we're saying this to an audience that's already guessed it. Maybe.
Chances are.
Oh, so how was your day?
My day was pretty good.
Pretty good. What'd you get up to?
I just worked
Classic.
throughout the day.
Things you have to look forward to, youth.
Can't go wrong. What'd you do?
Oh, I studied. Uni's getting a bit.
Oh,
intense.
hold up. We have a winner. Grace Hips. Very well done for winning that round. Can't see what you said yet, but I'm sure it was very good if Megan has given it the clear. So very well done to you.
The rapid fingers on right now.
Yeah, very well done. All right. Next round, round 3, we need an item found in a fridge. Just anything in a fridge. The name of we got like the category is music.
And this could be an artist or a song, an album, whatever you choose. just
Related to music. Okay. And the last category for this one is superheroes. Just related. We don't need the exact name of a superhero. Could be like a side character, just superhero related.
All right, team. So once again, just to reiterate, things found in the fridge, music, superheroes, and we're going with the letter. Once we roll it, B.
Letter B for that one. Something found in a fridge, music, and superheroes.
Let's get cracking.
Awesome. So yeah, what were you saying about your day?
Oh yeah, it's been interesting. Uni's a bit different from school, but been really enjoying it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Although I'd be really keen to see how the youth have been doing. So type in how your day was in chat.
Hold up. Yeah. Hey.
How are we?
Amazing. That's how it's
Brilliant.
done.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Sorry, for the players at home, there's been secret messages being passed around.
Yeah. So we had Dougal win that round. And he said baloney, Bethel for music, and he said Batman,
He
right?
said Batman.
He said Batman. Of course.
Obligatory.
Done.
Has to.
Look at that.
Beautiful. And we're getting
Well-
nods of approval.
Awesome. So thank you very much, Dougal. Well done. You won that round. Awesome. Fourth round. Okay. So for this one, we're going to have categories of a fruit, an article of clothing, just clothing related, and a part of the body. Okay. So fruit, clothing, part of the body.
And the letter for this round is E.
E.
All right, let's get moving.
Let's get a fruit, article of clothing, and a part of the body. Dang, he can be pretty tough.
It can be pretty tough. I'm struggling to think of what it could be.
Yeah, wow,
Yeah, interesting.
very nice. Yeah, I'm stuck with one of those. Can't think of anything.
What would you say for the letter Z? Jordan, I'd love to hear your opinion on that one.
Z. Jeez.
Z.
It's fruit starting with a Z. Gee, that is something.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry. I kind of did you dirty on that one.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. So still waiting for a winner for that one.
Sorry, team, just getting a few things sorted.
This can be tough. So we might have to wait and see. And if people are really stuck, we might need to go for a new letter. But
Beautiful.
awesome.
All right, so we've
We
got an
had-
answer. We're going to have it read back to us once more.
We had Amy win.
Yes. Elderberry, earrings, and ear.
Done.
Beautiful.
Very well done. I have never heard of an elderberry, but I trust that it's a thing. So how about that?
I have more faith in you than I have myself, so well played.
Yeah, I was very stuck on fruit, but well done. So we're going to go into another round before we hit our kind of finale, so to say. And so round 5.
Let's
Do you
take
give
it
the
away.
categories?
All right. So we'll just roll the dice again.
Yep.
But we've got things that fly. So this can be anything. Could be a living thing. Could be a human creation. We've got movies. And so just a movie title that starts with a letter. And we've got things that are round. All right, Geordie, you want to give us the letter?
Awesome. Let's roll the dice. We have K. K for king. Just like that. So see how you go. So we got things that fly, a movie,
This one's going to be very difficult.
and things that are round.
Things that fly that start with K.
No, I can
You can think of a few.
couple.
Hmm.
Probably more wildlife related, but
Maybe think along those lines.
yeah.
We
3
have
categories: things that fly, a movie, and things that are round. And the letter is K.
loving it, team. Loving it.
Yeah, this is the last chance you will have to qualify for our finale.
See, we didn't really explain this too well because we're not that smart. However, we have the winners of the last few rounds going head to head in a final round.
Which everyone can participate in, but only the people who have won previous rounds can actually win the prize, if that makes sense.
So what we've got going on is that we're going to have a minute timed, and whoever comes up with the most answers for the one letter, one category, the most answers wins.
That's what's going to work. But yeah, for now, focus on things that fly, a movie, and things that are round.
Let's start with a K. Looks like we might have something coming in. Matthew King has
Matthew
won.
King has won again.
He's a bit of a competitor.
Wow. We got kite, Kingsman, and kiwi fruit. That's pretty round.
That is pretty round.
That's pretty round.
I'll pay it to him.
That's good enough. So very well done, Matt, for his second win of the game. So just like that, we have our so we got Dougal who has come in in second with a great attempt. And what was the fly? Ice again, Karate Kid, and knee.
That is.
And knee is pretty round.
And it is pretty round.
It's round enough. I think we can pay
I
that
think
as
we'll
well.
pay it. And I think
Yeah.
since Matt King's already
Matt King's already
in,
won.
we'll have Dougal in.
I mean,
in the running as
Dougal's
well.
already in. So
Dougal's already in as
Dougal's
well.
already.
Wow,
won, I
I'm
think.
missing
So
everything tonight, aren't
That's
I?
okay. We've got our 4 finalists. So in the finale, we will have Matt King, Dougal, Amy, and Grace.
Beautiful.
Very well done. But everyone else, feel free to participate because we're a youth that values inclusion. So we're just going to have a good time. Okay. So, okay. Yeah, okay, that's good.
Voice in the background.
So for our final round, you are going to have 1 minute, okay? And you are going to need to name as many names used in the Bible as possible.
Now there's going to be one letter, which we'll reveal in a second.
Yeah. Okay? So we're going to have a letter, and you need to get as many names used in the Bible starting with this letter.
All right. I think.
Okay?
Shall we tell them the letter?
Let's tell them the letter.
All
This
right.
one we're not rolling the dice for because we wanted to make it a bit interesting. But, ready?
Shall we? 3.
You want to tell them the letter?
I'm going. All right. The letter is J. Your time starts now.
Oh, that's reverse too, so they can't really see, but that's okay.
I will let them know. It is
So-
okay.
We're going to be trying to have some countdowns assisted by Megan and Tim and the team at church. But hopefully we'll be able to make a nice, clear cutoff point at a minute. Okay? So as many names starting with J. There is several of them.
There are a few that we can think of straight off the top of our head, but we want to see what you guys can come up with. We've got 30 seconds down.
The person who can get the most will win the prize for this game. And as we've already heard, the prizes are pretty cool. So that's something you want. So let's get some J names down.
All right, team. It's coming to a close very soon. All right.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Time.
Oh, that's time.
That's time.
Now, hopefully we'll find out pretty shortly who we had as our winner. But wow, I'm sure that would have been pretty exciting.
I'm very interested to see what came up from that.
Yeah.
Alright, now that the round has passed, I reckon we could probably say a few names just off the top of our head.
Yeah. So, hang on a sec. How does the
The feedback will not overtake us. They will.
that doesn't work? Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, it's me.
If you guys didn't have Jesus, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, we need the most
We need the
names,
most
not the
names.
first to reply.
No.
No.
All right.
Yes,
Uh,
Grace.
yes.
Yep. We're coming back in. We're coming back in over everything, I
Could
think.
you do both of us on the screen or just?
Can you do like a split view on the Zoom? Yes, here
if
we go.
that's-
All right.
And go gallery. Press gallery view.
Yes. Yes, here we go.
Yes.
Oi!
Okay, and then
Round of
yes.
applause for our tech
Great.
Okay,
team.
hello everybody.
Wow, fellas,
Good stuff,
that was a
tech
good
team.
game. That was
That was a great
intense.
game. That was
It
really
was
fun.
intense. That last minute, I was because we get the countdown early. We were sitting here tensely waiting to see a comment come up, and there were no
Yes.
comments that came up.
Yes, but
Anyway, until just after.
I believe that that it was the person with the most, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
person with the
Most
most
correct.
J
I
names
do
from the
believe
Bible.
that most of our
Hang on.
contestants have.
It has to be above times up.
That's what I thought. So the only person who did it within the time frame was
Amy I. Anson.
Amy I. Anson.
She had a list of
Amy
4.
I. Anson.
She
Yes.
said Joshua,
Judges,
Judges, John, and
and Jeremiah.
Jeremiah.
That's
So well
pretty
done,
good.
Amy. Amy won.
And I just want to
That's
give a
fair.
shout out
to
to
Grace,
Grace,
'cause
who
she
had
did.
she was just after our comment, and she had Jacob, Josiah, Jesus, Joshua, Joseph, Jericho, Jerusalem, Jonah, Judges, and Jeremiah. I think you've got
Wow.
This
and
feels
Matt,
wrong.
And
That's
Matt
awesome.
King,
Matt
he
King
said
had a
Jesus,
few.
James, John, Joel, Job, Joshua, Jeremiah, Jonah.
perfect, great.
Well
Wow.
done. Well done.
That is some good attempts. Very well done to.
Guys,
A scam there.
boys, did you hear that? Did you hear that terrible pun?
Nope.
No,
Megan
sorry.
said,
My
"Well
bad.
done."
I don't know. It just came to me.
Thank you. That was the
Anyway,
appropriate response. All right, thank you, fellas.
Thank you guys so much for coming on and running
Alright.
that game. That was so
See
fun.
you, everyone. Hope you had a bit of
Guys,
fun.
so good to see you.
Yeah.
Have a great night, team.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good night.
Thank you guys.
All right.
I want to blow a kiss, but I'm not.
Yeah, don't. I'm the only
Weird.
one you get to blow a kiss to. Thanks.
Love you. Alrighty, so we
Okay.
are back. Thank you to Geordie and Tom for running that game. That was super fun.
Tom's sort of like a new leader. He only came once. He was only able to come once before we
And
went
it was really funny.
online.
Yeah, it was really funny. So we were able to like meet up as like a group finally after with this Corona thing, and it was the second time I've met him.
Yeah, some people were meeting him for the first time, and he's been leading faithfully.
Yeah. So
throughout.
good. So good to have him on our team.
Yep.
Um,
But I just wanted to I hear we were a bit crackly before, and I just wanted to share that verse that we read out before
yeah,
about
great.
that is part of. Well, I mean, it's one of it's one of the verses in the Bible that speaks against racism and all of that sort of stuff. And so I
Yeah.
just want to share it with you one more time so that we didn't lose it. That is Galatians 3, verse 28, and says, "There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female, for all are one in Christ Jesus." And that's
Yeah, so
what we
good.
prayed for. That's our prayer for the world at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
But-
awesome. But now it's like to like the really juicy stuff, and I'm really
I'm
excited.
keen for the juicy stuff.
So
Hey,
keen.
can I just have a moment to introduce our new topic? Had the one with Amanda last week, the little bit of a discussion.
Yes, which
But-
we'll be uploading as a podcast.
Yes, that's
I'm
right.
not sure if that was lost in translation, literally.
But
And
you'll hear that.
Yeah, so if
But
you missed,
this
if you missed Amanda's, we're going to turn it into podcast. Sorry.
we are, yeah, we are, but now we are going to begin a new topic, a new bit of a theme for the end of the
Yeah,
term.
it's going to be so good. I've been really excited about this
Yeah.
all term. Really.
I'm keen, and it is called mainstream.
Mainstream.
Just well, that's a great question.
What does it mean?
So
Tim?
what we're going to be doing?
I was trying to think of a pun, but I didn't.
Mhm.
I was out.
Um,
Well done was all I had.
what about like instead of main, non-mainstream? Anyway, I don't know. What's the opposite of main? Anyway, not important. So our theme,
Just keep the puns to me, honey.
our theme this term for the rest of the term will be mainstream, and we're going to be
Yes.
unpacking really common, really popular verses in the Bible,
Yes.
and we're going to look behind. We're going to strip them back,
Yes.
look behind the scenes, and see what extra value there is in.
Yeah,
into 'em.
because obviously, like these really popular verses in the Bible, you hear them, but the reason they're so popular was because they had so much power
Yeah.
and they were so juicy. I want to say
No,
but,
there's
like,
so much in them.
Yes.
they're groundbreaking.
And because we listen to them, we can hear them so often that we kind of can lose that
Yeah.
kind of impact that it initially had that made them popular in the first place.
That's
So
right.
we thought, hey, let's tell them
Let's-
why
let's
they're
unpack
so.
it.
Yeah, let's unpack it. Let's talk about the deeper
Meaning.
meaning
Yep.
to them. So
Yep.
we're so excited.
Keen. Keen as
for
bean.
for our speaker tonight.
And also the topics we're going to look at, because it'll be
Yes.
verses like John 3:16 might come up. We haven't
Come on,
picked
Tim.
them all
What's
yet.
John 3:16?
For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, so that whoever may believe in him will not perish but have eternal life. See, they're common. So we're gonna be unpacking things like that. Jeremiah 29:11. And
basically just any verse that you can recite, like we could, that has just been drilled into you.
that could be explored this term.
Yes, it'll be great.
So
Anyway, let's stop
without
talking.
further ado,
Yes.
going to introduce our speaker tonight. We have the lovely Tia.
Tia.
Tia Mackenzie, not Godfrey. Last time we saw her, she was Tia Godfrey. Now she's Tia Mackenzie. How does that happen? Mitch put a ring on it. Anyway, all right.
Yes.
Let's bring the
Yes, can
lovely
we have
bride who was
some clapping
up.
emojis. Bring on Tia. Woohoo! Hey, Tia.
Hi, Megan.
It's so good to have you. Just for those who are watching, be kind. She hasn't done this before. So Tim and I are a
No.
bit rehearsed. So
Yes.
I understand that this could be weird.
Yes.
Now, before we start, I'm going to encourage you to look at the camera, not the screen.
Yes.
Did everyone see that? She winked.
Yes.
Okay, she's no longer uncomfortable. Anyway, I'm going to hand it over to you, Tia.
Yeah, sounds good.
Welcome.
Yeah, so as Tim said, we're talking about like the verses that you probably, if you went to kids' church, you might have heard them a few times. Yeah, so I'm just going to jump straight in, read the one that I'm going to be talking about to you
Right.
guys.
Sounds good.
It's from Luke 10, and it's verse 27, but I'm going to read you a little bit beforehand so you kind of get the context as well. So, on one occasion, an expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. So he was a bit like a Pharisee, and he said, "Teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" And then Jesus says, "What is written in the law? How do you read it?" And then the expert in the law answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." And Jesus says, "That's exactly right."
So good.
Yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but I think that last part, those two, like the love your God with all of you and the love your neighbor as yourself parts, I think that they're pretty well known. So,
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And in Matthew and in Mark, it's actually said again, and it's known as the greatest commandment in the whole Bible, basically, is love the Lord your God with all of your heart and soul and strength and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself.
So good.
So I want to unpack that before we try to understand exactly why it's so well known.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. I'm so keen. Hope you guys are.
So the greatest commandment itself is actually really literal. Tim asked me to look up about the Greek and see if there were any fancy words or anything like that. It's very clear. It's literal. All means all. Heart means your physical heart. Mind means your mind. All of that kind of stuff. God is being very clear here. He's just saying, love him with everything you've got. But what does that look like? It can be hard to know. So I have a story here. When Mitch was little, he would get on his little bike, his little push bike, and he'd ride down to a construction site, and he'd sit in the dirt with his packed lunch, and he'd watch the diggers go and the cranes move, and he'd sit there for hours, and he loved it so much. And it was a thing that he did whenever he could, no matter what time of day it was, no matter how hot it was. He was really small. I think it was when he just came to Australia, maybe even before. So yeah, so little. Yeah, so he loved watching those cool machines do their thing. So it became part of him in a way, and it's even influenced what he does now for a job. He works on construction sites sometimes before they actually do all their digging. So when I think of that, and when I think of when I was in kindy, I had friends, not close friends, they were in my class, who were obsessed with horses. The horse girls, right?
Yes.
So they'd wear their hair in a ponytail, and their pencil case and all their pencils would have horses on them, and they'd eat carrots because they liked carrots, and they'd neigh.
Yuck.
I wasn't a horse girl, but I'm very familiar with them.
Neither was I.
Yeah. So it influenced everything about them, what they wear, what they like to do, everything that they ate, who they spent time with. Yeah, so loving horses became part of who they were. And this is what God actually is talking about here. He wants us to love him so wholeheartedly that it changes the way that we live.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's big. So that way could recognize us as like the Jesus kid instead of the horse girl or the dinosaur kid or the digger boy.
Amen.
The Jesus kid. Yeah, that's what he's talking about here.
Awesome.
So that's kind of like the greatest commandment. And then the second greatest one, which is also actually really clear. So it says that love your neighbor as yourself. And in case we're confused about who our neighbor is, Jesus explains it with a parable, which you may have heard of. It's called the Good Samaritan. Yes, I'm sure you've heard of it.
Kids church.
Yes, and that's
Yes.
actually something we hear pretty regularly outside of church as well. Like, oh, there's such a good Samaritan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Even
So-
in like first aid courses, like
Yeah.
the Good Samaritan. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you do.
yeah,
Which is really
charities.
interesting because this commandment is like the golden rule for a lot of people. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Yeah, so he's explaining that we should treat others, everyone, all of our neighbors, the way that we want to be treated, but going above and beyond, just being merciful. So in the story, there's a priest and a Levite and a Samaritan who all walk past someone who's been gravely injured and is like nearly dead because they had robbers hurt them. And the priest walks on past, doesn't give a second look to the Levite, to the guy who got hurt, and then the Levite does the same thing, and they're supposed to be buddies. And then it's the Samaritan who's actually enemies with the guy who was hurt, who picks him up, puts him on his horse, takes him to the inn, says, help this man, I have given you all my money, and if anything, like you go into debt because of this, I'll come back and pay more.
Yeah.
So he goes above and beyond.
Wow. Wow.
And
And
do
these
you-
were like mortal enemies.
yeah, they
Like-
hated each other.
Like generational, like, oh my gosh, we hate Samaritans. But it was the Samaritan that came.
yeah, and looked after him.
Yeah.
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 And so what I think Jesus is trying to say here in like a really like a nice story way is that he's saying your neighbors don't include just like your family who you spend time with all the time and who can, you know, look after you back, or a classmate who like you don't really care about but you have to do group work with them, so whatever, I'll just treat them nicely.
Or the people that are easy to like. Or
Yeah. Yeah,
the
so
likable people.
he's actually talking about the people who really like have hurt you in the past, or
Yeah.
like who are going to hurt you in the future, or who make you really mad when they do something. So just like how the Samaritan loved his enemy, the guy on the road who got hurt, we're actually called to love our enemies and go the extra mile for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for
So
me, when someone cuts in line, I get really mad. I'm like, why would you do that? Or like cuts me off when I'm driving. That's worse, I think, especially if they don't indicate. But I get really up in arms about this.
I don't drive with Tia very often, so I really want to see this.
Yes, I can get a bit loud. But
Really?
if I was loving my neighbor, the person who cut me off, who I don't like because they cut me off,
Yeah.
as myself, I'd be like, you know what? It's okay. Maybe they didn't see me, maybe they were in a hurry, but then going the extra mile would be letting them in the next time they wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's going above and beyond. Or it's like, oh, their car broke down. Okay, I better go out and help them.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
God's calling us to love people, like, over and above what I think
Yeah.
normally we would want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Convicted.
So now that we understand God is calling us to love him, like to be the Jesus kid, to love him with all of our heart and our soul and our mind and our strength, and to love all of our neighbors, even the ones we don't like, as ourselves, we can unpack what the deeper meaning is. Because I don't know about you guys, it sounds simple. It sounds so simple, but like it's kind of impossible as well. Like I said, like I make mistakes. I get mad at the people who cut me off in traffic, and I certainly don't spend 24 hours a day thinking about God. Like I mess up. I'm sure we all do. Yeah, so I don't put all of my heart and soul and mind and strength into loving Jesus all the time, even though this is what he calls us to do. And I know I'm not a loving neighbor, as I'm sure people who are close to me will tell you on occasion. Yeah, so it's like, oh, if that's what we're called to do, I'm not doing it. I feel so bad, but it's okay. I'm here to tell you that the simple problem of we can't do it has a simple solution, and God's given it to us. And the solution is grace. And that's why the verse is so important in our lives. So grace is the unmerited favor of God. So it's like someone just like picking you out of the crowd and going, yep, I'm gonna look after you even though you don't deserve it. So in this verse, in Luke 10:27, Jesus is telling the lawyer that to spend eternity with God, so to hang out with him in heaven, we need to be impossibly perfect. But by the same token, he knows that he's going to die on the cross for our sins to give us the grace to get there when we don't measure up.
Wow.
Just going to take a breath.
Wow. You're doing awesome. This is great.
Okay, so
You look and sound really comfortable. so-
thanks. I'm so glad. When I was in year 5, we had to do warm fuzzies, and I remember this kid, he didn't know how to spell very well. We were 10, and he wrote on mine, "You are good at height jump." And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. He thinks I can do high jump or height jump, whatever that is in his brain. But it's funny because I actually want you to imagine a high jump bar, but like taller than anyone could ever jump, okay? So that's what God has done. He set the bar for how we ought to live our lives, and he's not going to lower it. He's not going to lower it so more people can get into heaven. Instead, God's given us grace as a tool so that we can either like use a pole vault to flip ourselves over, or so Jesus can pick us up and throw us over, or he's given us like a fuel so we can jetpack over to help us reach the bar. And the tool is grace.
Yeah.
So when Jesus was sent to earth to die on a cross for our sins, he basically just gave us a leg up to reach the bar on both counts, both commandments that he gives us.
Wow.
So he fills us up with grace so we can reach the bar on his first commandment, and then he gives us the grace so that it flows out of us when we're loving others to reach the bar on his second
So
commandment.
good. Can this be
So-
made a podcast? So good, Tia.
So I'll just read John 1:16 to you. It says, it's really short, "Out of God's fullness we have all received grace upon grace." Every day we receive grace upon grace. What we don't have, God has in infinite measure.
Yeah, awesome.
So unless you are filled up with like really good healthy fuel, you're filling yourself up with like good food, I don't know how you could possibly run for 2 hours on a marathon or playing soccer. And if we don't fill up our cars with petrol, we can't drive anywhere, we're stuck. And if we don't use the tools or the instructions that is given to us when we put together IKEA furniture, we won't end up with what we're bought. So in the same way, out of his fullness, God has given us everything we need, grace, as a tool and fuel to reach his very high bar. Okay, so in summary, Luke 10:27 is a mainstream verse because it shows us not only how God calls us to live through his 2 commandments, but also how much we need him to live.
Yeah. So good.
It shows us that even though God made us clever and funny and sporty, some of you, and creative and friendly and kind or musical, like we can't live his way without his grace. We can't reach his bar and follow his greatest commandments of loving him with everything we have and loving others as ourselves without his grace. That's why we need grace. Yeah. The end.
That's awesome, Tia. Guys, I just had to take that in. Oh, amazing. How do
It's
you
a good
feel?
verse.
It's a great verse.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know about you. That threw me away? What is it? Blew me away. Blew me away, Tia. You didn't throw me away.
So good.
That is so good. Thank you so much for coming and sharing that with us. What was that last thing you said about how it's not only shows us how to live, but how we need God to live his way? What was that?
So
Can you say that again?
we can't live with his way without his grace. We can't reach his bar and follow his greatest commandments of loving him with everything we have and
Yeah.
others as ourselves without it.
Wow. That is amazing. I haven't heard it put that way before, and it's thrown me. It's been great. So I hope you guys have been blessed as much as I have by Tia coming. And it's nice to have her physically here. So thank you so much for coming. And before we let you go, we've got a few things to say. And we just want to let you know if you feel like if you want to be living the way Jesus calls us to, or if you haven't ever met Jesus before, we just want to give you an opportunity to say yes tonight. And so if you guys and people in the room, if you want to like pray with me, if you if you don't know who Jesus is, or you want to live for Jesus, just pray this prayer with me. Dear Jesus, thank you that I am saved. I'm sorry for the way I have lived. And I ask you to show me how to live for you. I love you. And I pray that I can live for you all the days of my life. Amen. Awesome, guys. I froze on that, so I hope you could bear with me. But if you prayed that prayer, please let your leader know or send us a message. Leave us a comment, send us a message on Instagram, but we would love to hear from you. Can we all just thank Tia so much for coming? That was awesome. Such a great way to kick off our mainstream series. And one more thing before we leave for tonight and we can join our Zoom groups is our challenge. So because of all of our technical difficulties last week, we weren't really able to share our weekly challenge with everybody. So our weekly challenge is it is called the Cartwheel Challenge. So send us a video of you doing a cartwheel and best cartwheel wins, right? And next week we have our theme. It's going to be Jersey Night. So support your favorite sports team, any jersey you like, face paint, wigs, whatever. Just, support your favorite team because sports are back. And it's going to be exciting. So we hope to see you next week and hope to see you on Zoom.
We might flash a few of the pet.
Yeah, we've got a few pets.
We got one.
Yes, we got Bex. We got Bex.
Oh,
Do we have Amy's?
that's adorable.
No, Amy. That's okay. But this is Mexican Beck, as you can see, with the moustache. So give it a zoom, give it a screenshot,
we
and
love
post
big.
it everywhere. Great. Thank you so much, youth. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Tia.
Thanks, Megan. See you, youth.
Bye, guys.
Bye.